Time now for Morning Rounds with CBS News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Jon LaPook and CBS News contributor Dr. Holly Phillips. First up this week, an Iowa boy's mysterious illness. 12-year-old Landon Jones woke up one day with no desire to eat or drink. 1 year later, Holly, and doctors are really still baffled by this.
Good morning, Vanita. Although Landon can taste, swallow, and digest food normally, his body no longer tells him when he's hungry or thirsty. His parents have held off on sharing their story for the sake of his privacy, but now desperate for answers, they're speaking out. Tell me, what has this last year, been like for you?
It's hard to explain. You have a child who is running and playing and laughing and then wake up one night and our world just flipped upside down.
You ate your cup of applesauce?
For 12-year-old Landon Jones, mealtime has become anything but routine.
What about your sandwich? How are you doing your sandwich? All right, well, not bad.
It all began last fall, just days after celebrating his 11th birthday.
Is that good, Landon? Mm-hmm.
Landon woke up one morning with absolutely no urge to eat or drink. He was dizzy and severely congested. A chest x-ray revealed a bacterial infection in his left lung. And although that eventually went away, Landon's ability to feel hungry or thirsty never returned. And what kind of eater is he now?
He's not. Wants nothing to do with it.
You could put food in front of him, he won't touch it. It'll sit there all day and all night.
Over the past year, the 6th grader has lost about 40% of his body weight, plummeting from 104 pounds to just 67. Not even trick-or-treating with his younger brother could tempt his appetite. Did you have any of your Halloween candy? The Joneses' search for answers has taken them to 5 different cities, including Rochester, Minnesota, where pediatric neurologist Mark Patterson examined Landon at the Mayo Clinic.
This combination of loss of appetite and loss of thirst is something that I have not encountered before.
Patterson believes the problem could lie within the boy's hypothalamus, the pea-sized portion of the brain that regulates hunger, thirst, and essential functions like sleep and body temperature.
Even on the boost or the weight gainers, he still is continuing to lose weight.
While his dad Michael sits with Landon at every meal, encouraging him to eat and drink, his mom Debbie stocks their kitchen with healthy food, as well as high-calorie and protein snacks, hoping something will help Landon maintain his weight and his health. Deb, how's it been for you to see him change during this time?
It's very frustrating as a mother. I miss my little boy. I just miss Landon.
Your heart goes out to that family. It seems like they have really looked at a lot of possible different causes. Do they think at this point it could just be psychological?
Vanita, that's a really important consideration. Landon has been evaluated by a number of psychiatrists, psychologists, and eating disorder specialists who really don't feel that this is an eating disorder or something entirely psychiatric. There's definitely something physical going on.
So what happens, Holly, if Landon keeps losing weight?
Well, his doctors have said, if he really continues to plummet, they're going to insert what's called a gastrostomy tube. It's a tube that goes right into your stomach where you can put fluid and nutrition. That way he'll at least stay safe. His weight will be maintained until they can figure out another solution.
All right, also this week, men and bones. Osteoporosis is often considered a women's problem, but this disease will cause 1 in 4 men over the age of 50 to break a bone. And a new study finds men are 3 times less likely than women to have a scan after a wrist fracture. They're also 3 times less likely to begin treatment for the condition. John, what did the study tell us exactly?
Well, it was a study of men and women over the age of 50. They fell with relatively little trauma and they broke their wrist. And so the natural question would be, are their bones brittle and should you do further evaluation? Well, it turned out that only 18% of the men got a bone densitometry scan and 53% of women did. And if they, once they got the scan, they were far less likely to get proper treatment.
Why do you think men are being overlooked then?
This reminds me so much of the heart disease problem, where it's flipped, where if you have a chest pain, people, if you're a guy, you're thinking heart attack, and women, you're not thinking about heart attack. And
Yeah,
you've had to educate people about that. And it's the same thing here. I mean, women do have a dramatic drop-off in their bone density when they hit menopause, and you have 5 years of a lot of bone loss. And so they do get osteoporosis and problems with their bones earlier in a much more serious way than men. However, men do catch up. They start to get just age-related bone loss. And so it's something that we have to sort of keep in mind and not be just thinking, oh, well, osteoporosis is a women's problem. It also can be a men's problem.
Holly, should all men have scans to test their bone density?
Well, Anthony, it's certainly fair to say that if you're over 50, you're male, and you fall and fracture your wrist, you should definitely be considered for screening, or if you have any fracture after 50. But part of the problem is that there hasn't been a huge amount of data to show exactly when it's beneficial for men to be screened. In the same way, and John referenced this, we know a lot about when women start to lose their bone density. We haven't had big studies about when is the best time to screen men for that loss in bone density. And what's unfortunate is, therefore, men aren't being screened. The study shows maybe they should be.
Well, also, if you do shift work, it can prematurely age your brain. A study published in the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine finds people who work the night shift or other odd hours have lower brain function. Not the best news for all of us. Those with more than 10 years of shift work had the same results as someone 6.5 years older.
Feeling the burn? About 20% of American adults suffer from heartburn, also known as acid reflux. It's on the rise, and we spend billions on medications each year. But the solution may be simple. Eat dinner earlier. John, what exactly is heartburn?
Well, the stomach is fine with acid. It kind of likes acid. The esophagus, the swallowing tube, hates acid. And there's a valve in between the stomach and the esophagus that keeps the acid from bubbling up. And when it becomes a little bit loose, it's called a hiatal hernia. Acid can bubble up into the chest. It can cause heartburn. It can also cause sore throat, cough, wheezing, even sinusitis.
But do they really think that late night eating alone is the reason for the rise?
It is a big part of it, but you're right, Vanita. It's not only when you eat, it's what you eat. Some of the biggest culprits are junk food, processed foods, foods high in sugar and fat. When you look at some studies that have been done in European countries, people do eat late, but they eat smaller portions and less processed food, and then they have less acid reflux. Also being overweight and being sedentary, these are lifestyle things that contribute.
John, if it really is about our lifestyle, what changes should we make then?
Well, the things that make acid, I'm a gastroenterologist. I always give the same spiel. The things that make it worse, basically anything that gives you even an iota of pleasure in life, you have to cut out. So
Okay.
Alcohol, coffee, fatty food, mint, chocolate, of course, smoking. But everything in moderation. So if it doesn't hurt, I think generally you're going to be okay.
Have it earlier in the morning, I guess, is also another key.
Yeah, but sometimes that latte that you have or coffee that you have in the morning, depending on your metabolism, can actually last at night and keep you up and give you heartburn at night.
You just want to ruin everything.
I'm sorry.
Thanks a lot, John. Well, finally this week, Speak Up, Dad. A new study in pediatrics finds babies hear 3 times more words from mothers than from fathers. Researchers put microphones on babies and told parents to turn them on only when parents were around. Dads rarely engaged in baby talk unless moms were also in the conversation. The results suggest that papas could do their babies some good by talking more.
I want to say I'm really shocked, but I'm just not. My girls always say to me, Mommy, why are you talking so much?
Listening's important too.
Yeah, listening is
We're
very
teaching
important.
our
We do
kids
that
how to do
also.
that.
Yeah,
And also, I don't
yeah.
think children have this problem if their fathers are broadcasters. I'm just saying. Dr. Jon LaPook, Dr. Holly Phillips, thanks so much.